On a quiet Tuesday afternoon, a man was driving home from work after a long day. The road was quiet, and everything seemed normal as he made his way through the area. Suddenly, another car blocked the road, forcing him to slow down and stop. Within seconds, two armed men stepped out from the back doors of the car and began walking toward his vehicle. It was clear that they were attempting to rob him. However, the driver quickly realized what was happening and knew he had to react fast. Before the attackers could reach his car, the man pulled out his own gun and fired warning shots. The sudden response caught the robbers completely off guard. Realizing that their target was ready to defend himself, the two men quickly ran back to their car and sped away from the scene. The driver remained safe and was able to continue his journey home, escaping what could have been a dangerous robbery. One afternoon in a quiet neighborhood, a man parked his motorcycle inside his house compound before going indoors. Believing the bike was safe, he did not expect anyone to try stealing it. However, two thieves who had been watching the house quietly entered the compound and began rolling the motorcycle toward the gate so they could escape without attracting attention. Just as they were about to leave with the bike, the owner suddenly stepped outside and noticed what was happening. Realizing his motorcycle was being stolen, he immediately rushed toward the thieves and confronted them. A fight broke out as the two men tried to escape, but the owner bravely fought back and prevented them from getting away. Soon after, security officers arrived and took the thieves into custody. Thanks to the quick reaction of the bike owner and the help of the community, the motorcycle was safely recovered. One quiet Saturday night, a man was walking home alone through a quiet street. The area was dark and mostly empty, and he was simply trying to get home safely after a long day. As he continued walking, he suddenly heard the sound of a motorcycle approaching from behind. A bike carrying the men soon pulled up beside him. The rider slowed down while the man sitting at the back began demanding the man's belongings. It quickly became clear that they were trying to rob him. Instead of panicking, the man reacted quickly. As the motorcycle moved closer to him, he suddenly kicked the bike with force. The unexpected move caused the rider to lose control, and both thieves fell to the ground along with the motorcycle. Late one night, a quiet store in the neighborhood became the scene of a sudden crime. The store was still open, with a cashier behind the counter and a few customers browsing the aisles. Everything seemed normal until the door opened abruptly, and a man wearing a mask entered the store. He was armed and immediately demanded everyone's attention. The robber moved quickly toward the cashier, brandishing his weapon and ordering the money from the register. The cashier, frightened but trying to remain calm, handed over the cash while the armed man kept a watchful eye on the surroundings. At the same time, a customer in the store was also confronted, and the robber demanded their valuables, taking whatever he could grab in a matter of moments. After collecting the money and belongings, the robber made a swift exit. He pushed past a few bystanders and ran out into the night, disappearing into the darkness before anyone could stop him. The store was left in shock, with the cashier and customer shaken but unharmed.
It was late at night. The road was quiet. No traffic, no noise, just one man driving through the darkness. Suddenly figures emerged from the bushes. Men armed running straight toward his car. This wasn't an accident, this was a trap. They shouted, they chased, the night exploded into chaos. But he was lucky to get away unharmed, but I can't say the same for his car.
It was just another quiet day at the store. No noise, no trouble, just a man minding his business. Then everything changed. Two men walked in, faces tense, and suddenly guns pointed straight at the storekeeper. They demanded the cash. The storekeeper stayed calm. Too calm, he reached for the register, pretending to hand it over. But in a split second, the tables turned. The storekeeper quickly pulled out his gun and got to action. The robbers panicked. Fear replaced confidence. They ran. No money, no victory. One mistake, one wrong store. Moral of the story? Not every victim is helpless. The store was busy, people chatting, scrolling on their phones. Nothing felt unusual. Then the door opened. A man stepped inside, tense and aggressive. He raised a weapon and shouted for everyone to stay still. The room froze instantly. Fear spread fast. Customers were ordered to hand over their phones, wallets, and bags. One by one, belongings were dropped onto his hands. No one argued. No one moved too fast. Everyone just wanted to leave alive. The robber paced back and forth, yelling, watching every movement. The tension was heavy. You could hear people breathing, but something else was happening too. A few customers exchanged glances. Silent understanding, not panic focus. The robber turned away for a moment, distracted by gathering the items. That moment mattered. Without warning, several customers moved together, not recklessly, decisively. The robber stumbled as he was overwhelmed from different directions. The weapon hit the floor. The store erupted into noise, shouting, scrambling, fear turning into action. The customers restrained the man, keeping distance from the weapon. Someone called the police. Others helped calm the people who were shaking. Minutes later, sirens filled the air. Police arrived, secured the scene, and took the robber into custody. The stolen belongings were returned. No one was seriously hurt. The store was quiet again, but everything had changed. What could have ended in tragedy ended in courage.